Hello, I'm Eleanor from the Sound Review, and today I have something very exciting for you. I have the absolute pleasure today of interviewing an upcoming band about their debut EP. Townhouses are an indie band based in Bristol and London. Their music is very shoegaze, very psychedelic, indie, sleaze type vibes, and I gave it a listen. It's 4 songs and they're absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed this EP. My review is on Instagram and TikTok already if you want to have a look at that. The EP is called New Year, New Me, and it was released right in the new year, which is just perfect timing. I'd tell you all about it, but I'm going to leave it to the professional who actually knows more than me. So without further ado, let's get into this interview.
I'm Alex. I sing and I'm the front man. I play guitar. Then we got, who's not with us now, the other guys, who is Felix, who plays bass. We got Will Sneath, who plays drums, and Gabe De Silva, who plays guitar as well. And also we've got someone called Laura who joins us for like some special shows, who does cello.
Perfect. Right, so my first question is, we're going to start from the very origins. How did Townhouses become a band?
I went to Bristol originally for university, and I was in halls next to the bassist in the band now, Felix, and we were like, we weren't flatmates, but we were like next door to each other, so we just kind of met each other within like the first week or something. We became close friends quite quickly. I'd always made music and stuff like before, since I was very young, be writing songs or whatever. And originally it was like we would just make music in my room and kind of just like get drunk and make silly things. We actually started doing like beat competitions originally. We would like enter beat competitions. We didn't win any, so I think at some point I was like, maybe we should start doing like live music because we're not winning any of these. And then I don't know, we got our first gig in November 2023, and then we quite quickly had to put together a band. We had an old drummer called also called Will actually, and another person called Will who was on guitar at the time.
I feel like a lot of bands that I've heard from are met at uni. It's like
Yeah.
it's such a common.
The name actually comes from the place where we were living was called like the Townhouses. So we were like, we should call ourselves the Townhouses. But then on Spotify, the Townhouses was taken. So then we went for a while, like we called ourselves like underscore Townhouses. So I thought, it's a bit different. But then at gigs and stuff, it was quite difficult to get across our name because they're like, wait, is that underscore or like the word underscore? And I was like, you know what, let's just scrap that and just go to Townhouses.
That's perfect. I have a list on my like notes app in my phone of like, if I were to form a band, these are like the names I would use, and I probably won't ever, but I've got them. I'm like, none of these would be good, but I'll keep them there just in case. You never know. Tell us a little bit about your EP, New Year, New Me.
Yes, our EP, it's just come out. It's been doing pretty well. We recorded it about nearly a year ago, actually, at a place called Bink Bonk Studios at Bristol, which was, there's this huge house and it's like a tenancy share house. And then there's just this guy who rents out the basement where he's got this studio he's had for years. It's sadly shut down since because the guy's retired, Matt Sampson, who was like the engineer and stuff at the studio. But it was just great. It was a really nice place to record. We originally had recorded a lot more songs and intended to do an album, and then I just kind of sat with it for a while and then kind of cut out some of the songs and formed it into something a little bit more like cohesive, because it was a bit all over the place and some of them just weren't up to scratch. So we kind of ended up with that EP a couple months ago. I was like, oh, you know what, like let's just release this as it is because it's pretty good, instead of, because I was kind of waiting to be like, oh no, we should re-record everything because we got a new drummer and a new this or blah blah blah. But actually I just wanted to get something out before the only music we'd released was all kind of recorded in my bedroom, so it's a bit of a different quality to it. Like I've taken that all off Spotify since because it was quite like, you know, like indie bedroom music or something. It just lacked like the live energy that when we play live, people really enjoy, and then they'll listen to the music and then people will say to me like, oh, it doesn't quite line up or something. So I wanted to kind of put something out there that's like a kind of a fresh start and like a new leaf for Townhouses in like the recording and like live. So that was kind of the idea with it. And yeah, it's just a couple songs that we all like to play, and we all had a fun time recording it. And yeah,
A possible album on the horizon, do you think, because you've got some extra songs, or are you going to use that towards another EP?
No, I think, to be honest, like I don't think that's ever going to become an album. Definitely at some point I want to do an album. It's just a bit techie because like bands our size, it's very difficult. If you make an album, right, I could make it, we could record an album tomorrow and put it out, like we have enough music, but no one's going to listen really through the album. It's too long and you can't convince people to listen to that long, especially with streaming services and whatnot. Like people will listen to the first song, maybe the second song, and it's very rare that they'll actually listen through. That's why like I stuck at the last 2 songs are these really long, weird songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I do want to obviously do that at some point. I just think for now, it's just going to be too difficult to organize. And like, I don't know, I feel like because we can play whatever we like to play and live we can do what we like, but if you're releasing it, it's kind of a different ball game. It's like, well, why are you releasing it? Because there's a reason why. And you can just pump it out if you want. Like you could just put out everything on Spotify all the time. But I kind of be more hesitant and be like, actually, we've done this EP now. Let's leave that for a while, do some gigs, and then we're just in about 2 weeks going to start recording some new stuff, which will be a couple singles, which will kind of drip throughout the year. And then we'll see as the year goes. Hopefully, we kind of raise our money from gigging to pay for recording and stuff. So if we get enough gigs, then we can put in some serious recording time kind of thing.
I really like the last two songs on the EP because it's unusual to have longer songs on an EP, and I was like, I listened to it like in order because I love like longer songs as well. This is so unusual. I really loved it. How did it feel to finally release your first, like your debut EP? Because I know you've got a single on Spotify and you said you had some stuff up beforehand. Is it like a different feeling to release something like...
I'm much more proud of this music than I was. The older music was fun and it was nice to make and stuff, but it didn't feel any bigger than my bedroom. This is like, it's us all in the room together. It was all recorded live, and then afterwards we, did the vocals and overdubs later, but like the energy that like I feel like the band has when we play live and stuff, it's really captured well on that EP. And all the other stuff, it just kind of been lost. Like it was nice music, but I didn't listen to it and I wasn't like, oh, that's like the sound matches up to the image, which matches up to the performance kind of thing. And I like that it's a bit more cohesive now and we're able to sell ourselves a little bit better. It's
different because you recorded this in a studio, as you said. So what did you learn between the releases of your kind of like bedroom stuff and your first single on here to the EP?
I think I learned that like you're not going to use everything you record. Like I said, we'd set out to do an album, and then afterwards I'd taken it home and was mixing it and adding bits, and I was just getting so frustrated with some of the songs. I'm like, it's just not there. And then I just stopped listening to everything for like 2 months. I was like, I just hate all of it. And then listened to it again a couple months later, and I was just like, well, why don't I just take out the ones I don't like and leave in the ones I do like? And then you're just left with something quite good at the end. So I think that's kind of the learning curve, is just like, like rehearse the fuck out of everything you're doing. And I just hope you just kind of roll in, do it, get as much done as possible, and then look at it at the end and be like, well, what product here can we actually like take out of it? Like this one's a single, that one's a single, maybe this one will leave for another time, or this isn't good enough kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no like shame in going and recording. And then originally I was like, oh, well, we wasted loads of time, but actually it's a positive thing.
I suppose you go in and you think you're going to use absolutely everything, and it must be like hard to let go of some songs.
Yeah, it was, but it kind of makes or breaks. It's like some of the songs I was quite attached to and was like, oh, I really like this. So it was a shame to not do it, but at the same time, like, what does it matter? I can listen to that in my own time. Like, there's no reason to make people listen to it if I'm not happy with them listening to it, kind of thing.
I've never even thought about that before. What is or who are the biggest inspirations and influences for Townhouses?
We draw from a couple of different places. I was kind of hard to say. I mean, originally we were very influenced by like the Dandy Warhols, heavy psych 80s, 90s, kind of a bit grungy stuff, really atmospheric kind of music. I mean, I personally like, I listen to a lot of quite weird anything. Like originally I liked the Beatles when I was younger or whatever, and then kind of since then, I mean, people like Ian Dury I really like. Felix is definitely a bit more the like indie pop, indie rock side. And then Gabe, the guitarist, he's a bit more avant-garde. Like he likes a lot of classical guitar music and stuff like that. A range of different influences, really. It's kind of hard to say because it's like I don't think any of us can really like listen to one thing. It's not a question of I've been influenced by specifically this person to write this music, but I definitely think stuff like the psychedelic-y, indie, Sonic Youth, Iggy and the Stooges, all over the place, really. I don't know. Like I'm just speaking for myself. None of the guys here, so I can't really like say, but yeah,
I guess that's a good thing. If everyone listens to such like a wide variety of stuff, you'll have a lot of that in your own music, I guess.
Yeah. It's interesting. Well, it's kind of interesting also with the influences because of like how a lot of the songs I'll write or some of them me and Felix will write together, and then we'll kind of bring it to the band afterwards, and then everyone will play around with it, or add a bit here or take a bit away or something, and play with it until it kind of finds its place. And I feel like everyone's different influences. It's interesting to see everyone's kind of combinations.
Yeah, everyone will like process things in a different way, won't they?
Yeah.
I think you mentioned this before, but what was the first venue you ever played, or do you have a favourite?
Yeah, so that first gig was at a place called Mr. Wolves. We actually started off a lot better than it went. We got there and it's like we got free drinks and we got paid well, and we were like, yeah, this is the life, like amazing. And then in the years since then, we've been like in so many shitty pubs, not getting paid or getting ripped off, and you don't get any free drinks. You've got to buy your own drinks and stuff. My personal favorite venue in Bristol, at least, is probably Louisiana. That's a nice, it's kind of like, it's a very like community focused venue. They bring a lot of interesting acts through. The people that work there and the booking agent and stuff for there are really like clued into the local kind of music scene and also just the broader UK music scene. And we've become very tight with them because we play there so much that I got to know the people at the bar and the people who do the door and stuff. They really do a good job there of music, and the sound there is great. Like they put a lot of effort into making sure it sounds good and it looks good. And I appreciate that because a lot of pubs are just kind of like pubs, which I like playing at because it's a good vibe and there's just people there, everyone's drunk having fun. But it's nice to play it somewhere where it's like, oh, I feel like I'm actually like I'm on a proper stage. But I don't know, yeah, we also the Windmill was pretty fun to play as well. We did that recently. They have a great sound, great stage. Bristol, there's loads of good kind of pub venues that we played. I could list off like 20 odd of them, but it's not very interesting to hear. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of weird. There's like pubs where there's a bar and a stage, and it's a good show. But yeah, I'd say definitely the Louisiana is my favorite.
I loved going to gigs in more of like a small, intimate gig space. Like sometimes pub gigs, they're really good. Like the vibes are brilliant, but it's really loud and you can't even like hear the bands and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there's a venue in Manchester called the Deaf Institute, and
yeah. I've
it's
heard of
the
that.
tiniest. Yeah, it's my favorite venue ever. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. But some of my favorite bands have played. Then it just feels so personal when you're like in like a gig space meant for gigs.
Yeah, those kind of venues are great. They're paying attention to the sound and stuff, and it's like, well, they care, and that's quite nice because a lot of places don't really care. They just want to get you in and get you out, and they don't really care about you or your band or your music or anything really because they're a company, they make money. You're reliant on these small bands to come through. Like if you treat us nicely, like I'm saying now, the Louisiana, I love that place. They gain such a good reputation because everyone gloats about them and everyone says, "Oh, this place is the best. You should play here and stuff."
Yeah, it literally sucks all the meaning out of like creating music where it's just using bands to make money for the venue. And you can tell as well.
It, honestly, it's not even the venues really. It's really the promoters. Like, because a promoter will rent out a venue and then they'll get the bands in and do the thing. But you get a lot of promoters who are they just kind of do it to skim 50 quid every night or something, and it's just like. It just is like, why are you doing that? It seems so pointless. Our job is to rehearse and to show up on time and to do the sound check and to do a good show. Your job is to put out flyers and get people to come. And there's a lot of promoters which are really weirdly reliant on bands. What happens is you do it and then you're like, oh, can you pay us? And they're like, no. And you're like, well, we had to get a cab there with our stuff. We had to buy food and drinks there because they were none provided. We had to do 2 or 3 rehearsals beforehand to practice for it. Like what do you want me to? It's just not fair. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's quite a few of you in the band as well, so you have to split that payment up between you as well after all of that.
Well, kind of way we do it is a bit like socialist. It's like we kind of all the band money just goes straight into the band fund, and the band fund gets spent on recording time, practice time, and kind of like expenses to do with like that stuff, like mastering and things like that. Because otherwise, it's like until we're at a point where it's like, well, we're making enough money to like actually be getting paid individually. I'm kind of just like, we should just put it all in a big pot and just be like, oh, it's just all band money gets spent on the band.
Smart, it's really smart. I respect it. It's brilliant that the EP came out at New Year, which I assume was intentional.
Yeah, yeah.
If you had to name it something else, what would you have called it?
Oh, I don't know.
Thinker.
Originally, we was going to call it Townhouses.
Oh.
But then it was about October time, and I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I do actually want to release this because that was the time when I re-listened to it. I was like, oh, it's not terrible. And then I was like, well, when should I release it? And then it just kind of made me think about a bigger picture with the band and being like, oh, new year, new me. Like, it's a fresh face. It's a new start. It's kind of I think it's kind of defining us a lot better than we used to have loads of stuff on Spotify. It's just it doesn't really define us well. It's all over the place. And it's like this, I feel like that connects exactly with what we do. And that going forwards, it's kind of like a stepping off point for us and for the music we've been playing and about to record since. It's like that's really like the foundation that I'm trying to lay out is that EP really of like the sound and the image kind of thing. And then next we're going to kind of start to go beyond it a little bit, but using that as kind of a platform.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I would find it really funny if it wasn't intentional and it was just always called that. It just happened to come out at New Year.
No.
Imagine.
No, it was very, very intentional.
Brilliant.
I was kind of aligned and I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect time. We'll do it New Year's. It'll be New Year, New Me, and then it's like New Me. And it's kind of funny when music is also kind of weirdly like a tagline or something like It just, I don't know, I just like that kind of thing. You know, when bands will have like a t-shirt and I don't know, the band just has a name that you can just wear as a t-shirt
Mm,
or something. You know, the one where it's like the bad seeds
yeah,
and then so the t-shirt bad seed. I just thought that's brilliant. Like so that's great for bands to do.
that's really cool. So, what is, would you say, your kind of like biggest dream? Like, what's like the first big goal you guys are trying to get to?
I mean, it's hard to say really. I don't have any like massive dreams of like I want this and a yacht or something. Like I just kind of want it to get to a point basically where we can keep doing what we're doing, but I want to get it to a level where it just keeps itself afloat, bringing in enough money within the band to do nice recording and kind of like, you know, once a year we've got an EP or an album, do that, and then every summer we have a tour and go and do festivals and stuff. That's really the goal, is to get it to that point where it's like it's not a full-time occupation, but it's like every summer there's basically just a tour, putting together these like press packages and stuff. It's so like I'll do it because I have to do it, but I'm not really good at doing it. Like
It's who you know, not what you know, isn't it? It's all about like connections.
yeah, and it's like the press packages. I just don't get it because I'm not like if you, people. Some people are good at that
Mm.
and they'll do that and it gets them quite far. So I've been practicing and watching YouTube videos and trying to learn, but we'll see how far it gets.
Yeah, definitely. My last question, my last proper question. What is next for you guys?
What is next is we've got a new single coming out in like May, June time. We're recording it literally the end of next week. It's called Sea Monkeys. It'll be a nice single, and then hopefully there'll also be a B-side if we can get that done in the studio in time. Yeah, there's going to be a mini tour along with that, which will be like Bristol, London, maybe Brighton or somewhere else. And that's kind of like the next goal. So I'm gonna take it from there, kind of thing.
Amazing. I've only ever been to London like twice in my life, and the first time I was like 2, but I've always wanted to come down and have a look at the gig scene because I've heard it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
London's good. We played here a bit. Like, I mean, we've mainly played in Bristol, really, because it's where we've all lived. But like, I'm originally from London. Our bassist is we're also originally from London. He's just moved back. So now we're like, okay, well, now we've got people in both cities. We should just put a bit more time into London as well. London's pretty difficult though, because it's very expensive
Yeah.
and it's massive. So it's like we'll have a gig in. We played a place called the Old Dispensary, and it's in South London in Camberwell, or even the Wimmer one in Brixton. It's like from where I am in London now to Brixton is like an hour and a half. We're gonna have to pay the train fee, and I'm gonna have to schlep my fucking guitars and stuff, and everyone's gonna have to coordinate, get there on time, and then you get there. And then, you know, you're gonna have to buy drinks and whatnot, and it just and London prices are just insane. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you'd be paying £6 for a pint of Guinness or something. It's just like, so you end up spending like just a silly amount of money without realizing it at all.
Yeah, I feel like that's slowly making its way to Liverpool. At this gig I went to last night, it was about the same for a pint. It's just like, but yeah, I mean, if you're ever up north, there's loads of amazing venues in Liverpool and Manchester. And then if I'm ever down south, I'll definitely have to catch you guys.
Oh, I really want to come up north. Our drummer's from Leeds, so we're hoping to start doing some stuff up north. I just don't have the connections there, really. Oh, we'd love to go up north. Like, there's obviously so many good venues and so many places in Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, Birmingham, even norther in Scotland, in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and even in Ireland, Belfast, these places. Like, I just love playing in places, and it's kind of an excuse to go and see these weird places. Like, we went about a year ago to the Netherlands to do some gigs. It was just fun because it was like I'd never been to Eindhoven or wherever. We went to Eindhoven. It was just like this is a much more fun way of traveling than normal.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think the furthest I've been for a gig is Halifax, which isn't actually even that far. It was like outdoors. We went to see Queens of the Stone Age. It was so good. And then we had to get like the last train back. We ended up back in Liverpool at like 3 a.m. It was just the most wild thing ever. I don't know why we just didn't stay there overnight, but it was, at least it was fun. Anyways, I think I've only got a few minutes left on here, so if you want to do a little promo for your stuff and where to find it, and I'll let you do that.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for having me. Go check out the EP, New Year, New Me, and start your year off well.